Hey everybody, it's Sharon here, coming back to you with part 4 of my 7-part series of how Bosslady prepares for vacation. So we already discussed how I go about choosing where we're going and for how long, also setting the budget, breaking down the budget, and after we do all of those things, then the fun begins. So then we look at shopping, and you have to look at shopping in two parts: shopping before the trip and shopping while on the trip. So let's start with before the trip. Normally, with planning the trip a month, not a month, but a year in advance, that gives me time to actually shop for the trip. So a lot of times, especially if we're going back to a same location we've been to before, I try not to wear the same thing twice, so to speak. So I always want to have at least one full new outfit, maybe another outfit be new capris or, new top, new sweater, whatever. So I do try to determine that. As well as shoes. A lot of times if I'm going on a trip where it's a walking trip where we're going to do massive walking, I always try to make sure that I purchase a good tennis shoe. And so depending on the shoe, depending on the price, I'm glad I have that year to prepare. Because sometimes, shoes are about $100 and some depending on what type of shoe you get. I mean, you can find some cheaper at like Kohl's, Penny's, whatever, but some of those shoes are like multicolor, and depending on what I'm taking, especially if I'm taking multiple different color outfits, I like to have a neutral shoe so that it will go with all outfits. And especially if you're going to Vegas, I do not recommend high heels and wedges and all that stuff unless you're just a bona fide high heel person, because walking that strip, you will get tired. Believe me, I walked the soles out of a shoe my first trip there, and that was 6 years ago. So anyway, so I always try to determine where we're going so I can determine what type of clothes and shoes I need to take. Then so after I determine that, then I also try to look at, as I get closer to the trip like I am now, I go through everything to see, okay, well, what exactly am I taking? And then if I need to add anything to it. So, you saw one of my videos recently, I just bought a new pair of sandals because I needed a sandal. So sometimes you are like 2 weeks out or a week out of the trip and you're like, dang, I need something else. So that's where that comes into play as far as shopping before the trip, as well as toiletries. I have what's called a toiletry drawer in my bathroom, and I keep it well stocked with travel toothpaste, travel toothbrushes, soap, and whatever. But then sometimes you run out of things, and so those bags that I use for traveling, I always keep them like pretty much packed. Like I take them out the suitcase, put them in the drawer, and then when I get ready for a vacation, again, I'll go through to see, okay, is there anything that's running low, so then I can replace it. So those type of items I typically buy right before we leave. And then, like I said, I might see like a top or dress or something on sale, or shoes. And so then I may pick that up like right before the trip. Depending on your mode of transportation, whether it's a road trip or flying, that also depends on how much you want to shop before the trip, because you also want to be able to shop while you're on your trip and bring things back. Normally when we fly, we normally do a carry-on, and only airlines that we've flown so far that we have to pay for carry-on is Spirit. But I did find a workaround with that, so I want to try that our next flight out. But Bossman is not willing to do that, so we'll see. I don't like paying for no bag, but whatever. But when we're traveling by car, depending on the size of the vehicle, depends on how much I actually will shop before the actual trip, because I want to be able to bring things back. Last year, we weren't able to bring back a lot of things just because of the size of the vehicle. We took a smaller vehicle, plus we had her bike. And so it was like playing Tetris trying to pack that vehicle down. And so we actually overshot coming back. So it was just very uncomfortable, that ride back. So I try to be mindful not to shop too much in advance, because I want to, be able to shop on the trip and bring things back. Also with flying, if you're doing a carry-on, you want to be able to be sure to leave room in your carry-on to bring stuff back. Because you don't want to get to the counter and they say your bag is too big to go in the overhead department, or you don't want to, have to carry things in your hand because they won't allow that anyway. So what I typically do with my carry-on, I always make sure to pack a soft, like a, what is it? It's a soft tote bag, something that is foldable, that you can fold it up real small, stick it in the pocket, and then I typically use that tote bag to carry back as my purse, so then I can add things into there. So that's what I do for as far as shopping. I try to determine how much to shop while on the trip because of, bringing things back. So normally road trips, I try to leave room in the car because I want to bring bags back. And like this trip coming up, yeah, I have a big bag, my big black and white chevron bag that you guys saw in my Michael's haul. That's for bringing stuff back. So I'm excited. But that's part 4 of the part 7-part series of how I prepare for a vacation. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in part 5 video. Bye-bye.